What a great day for DeKalb and DeKalb County. The barbed wire weekend, this is something that's been in the works for well over a year. The Glidden Homestead Association, along with Jesse LaRue and the board, has done a marvelous job with this celebration of the 150th anniversary of the patent of the winner, Joseph F. Glidden's amazing invention. It's wonderful to have all these folks coming from all over the country to actually come to the birthplace of barbed wire, and we're so excited to have them, and we're so excited to be able to highlight all the great things that we have and the great history that we have here in DeKalb and DeKalb County.
And I paint I'm a watercolorist, and I started doing these wire paintings back in the 90s. Started traveling to different barbed wire shows after reading an article in the Smithsonian magazine about barbed wire collecting, and I started painting these paintings, and I've got over 350, probably 400 large paintings of antique barbed wire, and I started this give it a name as a series, and I call it Steel Strings Across America. This show I painted 36 paintings just for this show, and most of the paintings are of Glidden wires, Hayes wires, and Elwood wires. My wife and I traveled from South Carolina to here and to do this show.
Welcome to the Elwood House Museum. Elwood, of course, bought the famous winner patent from Joseph Glidden and used that patent to produce a barbed wire fortune that at the time of his death in 1910 would amount to roughly $1 billion in today's money. So Elwood, for his day, was, for all intents and purposes, living life of a billionaire. And over at Elwood House, we have a historic home that he built, and his granddaughter, Patty Elwood, the last resident of the mansion, so lovingly donated it to the community of DeKalb. So we're just proud to be part of the barbed wire weekend here and all of the amazing work that Jesse LaRue and the Glidden Homestead have done to bring barbed wire collectors throughout the United States here to celebrate their hobby.
I've been collecting for about 43 years. Right now I get most of my stuff through friends that I've known for years. I just can't find stuff anymore.
DeKalb County History Center is here to celebrate the history of barbed wire in DeKalb.
Well, my exhibit is part of the Land of Lincoln Barbed Wire Club at one time, and I'm kind of trying to preserve the history of the Land of Lincoln. They were very big here in DeKalb back in the 70s, and they had a lot of barbed wire get-togethers back then. And what I've got sitting here is barbed wire, and I've got my barbed wire cactus there, and I'm displaying fence row tags from DeKalb Seed Corn there on a piece of barbed wire. And Val Farron was one of the founders of the Barbed Wire Club, the Land of Lincoln Club. So I'm kind of preserving the history of what's left of the Land of Lincoln Club.
I'm here attending this show, and I brought some of my collection to put on display. And for this show, I brought out some of a piece of what I think is an original piece of Glidden barbed wire from when they first started making it. And I brought some other of my fence tools that are some of my favorites. I've been collecting wire for about 40 years, and I'm also the chairman of the Antique Barbed Wire Society, so I help to keep the collecting of antique barbed wire and fence tools going. And so I'm just happy to be here and having a really nice time here in DeKalb.
I've been collecting for 40 plus years,
And in that time, I've acquired a love for the history of this hobby and these specimens. And I have acquired what might be considered the inspiration to the Glidden winner. This rose rail was patented in 1873, and it showed up at the DeKalb County Fair. Elwood and Glidden and Haish all attended that fair and saw this patent of rose and were inspired to make it, instead of wood, have a metal line. So I have a very early specimen of the Glidden winner. And then over here, some other wood rails that I've acquired. Again, these specimens don't survive the range fires that occurred, but so they're quite rare and quite unusual. I've been fortunate to have the ability to get these and to bring them here to the show and display them. I thought this would be an appropriate place at 150 years of the Glidden winner being patented to demonstrate or show what was the inspiration behind it and to share it with all the people of this area.
So this is my collection of Jacob Haish related tools and equipment and advertising. Not all of it is Jacob Haish, but Jacob Haish was my third grade uncle, and so that's why I focused on that part of the collection. And I have some of his patents. He had 9 different variations on barbed wire, so some of the displays explain that. Walking stick canes was something that he was known for, and so I have some displays on that. I like his paper advertisements, what I call ephemera. Then I have several of those things in the collection down at this space. And there's also some things just sprinkled in that are relating to the competitor company, the American Steel and Wire, which originally was IL Elwood, and some history about that portion of it as well.
That worked good.
Well, I collect barbed wire tools. Anything that was used building barbed wire is what I collect. It's a hobby I have, and I've been doing that since about 1965. And I've collected them, look for them every place I go, I guess you'd say. I got over 400 different barbed wire tools. The reason you get so many different variations is in the early days, the inventor could get a patent and it was good for 20 years. So if somebody else wanted to make a tool like that or do the same thing, he had to come up with a different design or something different where he could get a patent number, and then he could go ahead and produce his and sell it.
Okay, this is antique barbed wire, all mounted individually for identification and pricing, which I do it all. We bought 2 major collections in the last 10 years and a lot of minor collections. The biggest collection was about 600,000 wires. The last one we bought was about 50,000 wires. We'll probably never get out of the wire business alive.
I'm interested in I guess, enlarging the Barbed Wire Collector Association, so I'm trying to put together some plaques that will hopefully entice people to, well, first of all, to buy the plaques, and then use those plaques to see how many different variations of wire there are, and hopefully pique their interest in collecting further.
So we're here today to kind of celebrate the legacy of John Warren Gates, who was the first salesman for barbed wire here, really popularized it in the West. So we've decided to bring a couple artifacts from the personal collection, including this walking stick, as well as some razors and this horn, as well as his inkwell and everyday lighter, which he was an avid smoker, so that got a lot of use. We're out just 30 minutes east of here on Route 64, and I want to give a big thank you to Jesse and everybody today. It's been a fantastic afternoon and morning.
Well, we have this display on our third floor, Agriculture in the 1856 Stone Mill Museum in downtown Sandwich. And we have barbed wire, but we discovered a tool that was used to make a snow fence type of wire fencing for keeping ducks and small livestock and geese and chickens contained. And so we found out what it was, and we brought it here today.
I brought my collection of barbed wires and tools and miscellaneous stuff too, but license plates, and I'm a collector. I brought a lot of tools, but specifically the Keen Cutter brand. Every tool has a stamp on it that says Keen Cutter. I'm focusing on Glidden's 245 variations of his 3 patents. And then also I've got Elwood wires and Hayes wires, and then a whole bunch of other wires. But there's 32 panels of display, 32 panels.
We can bring it down. Tighten it.
Why are we here? Well, I met some of the barbed wire collectors last year at the Devil's Rope Museum in McLean, Texas. And I was really fascinated about the roots of barbed wire and what it means for the foundation of this country, the expansion of the West, and how we got to where we are today.
I'm the founder of DeKalb Life. We're a local tourism company in DeKalb. We promote local events, businesses, and just everything great about DeKalb. Today I'm here promoting our city, promoting our website, which has a lot of local guides like a food and drink guide, an entertainment guide, and an events calendar. So it's a great resource for people visiting DeKalb. And we're selling some items here, and part of the proceeds goes to the Glidden Homestead. The other part goes back to DeKalb Life in supporting our mission.
Well, actually, the barn tour is sponsored by the Joseph Glidden Company and the DeKalb Area Agricultural Heritage Association, otherwise known as DAHA. So the two groups put together the barn tour. Barn tour takes place every year in a different part of the county, of DeKalb County. This year, we celebrated our 10th anniversary for the barn tour. Barn tour is a really great way for people who've never been out in the country or on a farm or in a barn to see what it's like, see what the workings are like. An additional event that we have is historical markers that we place around the county honoring the inventors that were from DeKalb County.